She might not be the winner of season 17, but I really do think that Kori King is like the next big face that's going to come out of Drag Race. Hello and welcome back to the Pink Office. I'm Rose Confetti, and today we are talking about my latest hyperfixation that's been like keeping me up at night the last couple of weeks, which is none other than Kori King. Now, she is definitely an evolution, a development from like a broader obsession that I have with Drag Race. But the reason I want to talk about her specifically is because I think if you've had a little bit of Drag Race fatigue, if you've been in a bit of a Drag Race rut, if you're like, ugh, another season 17, are you kidding me? I'm not watching that many. I think Kori King is going to change your mind because of the impact she is having after the show. I really do believe she's someone to watch. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the way that she has provided a perspective on the season that is different to what we're seeing on our screens. And I just want to have a little giggle and a laugh about how great our content is. If you are unfamiliar, Kori King came in 9th of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, the US franchise. And I'm going to be real with you, and I'm so sorry, Kori, if you ever see this, but I was sleeping on Kori during her season. I would deem her not super memorable. Okay. She was like a little bit memorable. Oh, that sounds so mean. I don't want to be mean. But she was, to be honest, mostly known for her blossoming relationship with Lydia Butthole Collins. I'll talk a bit more about that later. But aside from that, I would say her talent show was pretty fun and memorable. It was great. It wasn't like jaw-dropping, but it was great. And she gave funny confessionals. But at the end of the day, she came in 9th, and I wouldn't say she was one of the like big names that they're pushing on the show. She's not one of the people who are getting like a huge storyline written about her. So I was somewhat hesitant when my YouTube algorithm started serving me up some Kori vlogs, but I thought, why not give it a go? And I was so shocked, delighted, impressed, excited by what I watched, and now I am like such a big fan. Kori's YouTube channel has 93,000 subscribers at time of recording. That may have gone up or down by the time this comes out. We'll see. And she mostly makes like vlog content and then like kind of comedy impersonation videos. It sounds mean when I say it like that, but I genuinely mean they are funny and they are great impersonations and they're super, super fun. But let's talk about the vlogs first, because these vlogs have been the most unexpectedly great companion to season 17. And by recommending them to friends, I've gotten them out of their like, oh, too much Drag Race, no, I couldn't watch more like phase, because they want to see Kori on screen. So let's talk about the vlogs. If you were a fan of YouTube back in like the mid 2010s, if you watched like Dan and Phil around Manchester, or you watched Troye Sivan drive around Dianella in his little car, or you watched Zoella vlogs, or even more recently someone like Grackle, Kori's vlogs really emulate what it felt like to watch YouTube videos and vlogs in that era, right down to some of the mannerisms that she does. Kori seems to be about 25, and I'm going to assume she must have grown up watching YouTube, because some of the references and the energy that she brings is just so of that era. If she hasn't, is she like reincarnated by like the ghost of Jenna Marbles or something? I don't know. And these vlogs, they even have the like generic free YouTube music spinning monkey sound to them that just hits me in my like inner teen. It is so heartwarming. But aside from the fact that I just enjoy this content, these vlogs have given such an insight into what the queens of season 17 are really like. So not just Kori and Lydia, but all of the queens, because you do see them pop in and out of the vlogs. Drag Race, as much as we love it, we all know is highly produced. Even, you know, the producers are in the ears of the queens. The show is edited. You know, we're given certain storylines about certain queens. So to see them in their real life as the show is airing, on tour or hanging out or just doing their normal gigs, it gives you so much more heart. It gives you more personality to these queens that we just don't get to see on the show. Like Joella, for example, like will be most known for the mattress runway. However, in Kori's vlogs, you're able to like see bits of her personality. Like, it's just fun. Lana is another good example of this. She says on the show a few times that she's silly and goofy, which we don't necessarily get to see on the show, but in the vlogs we can see her joking around, having a fun time, and it makes me appreciate her more as a queen. And that goes for Susie as well. Like, Susie on the show to some degree is like kind of a bit of a perfectionist, but in the vlogs she comes across really chill, and it's really nice to see her friendship with Kori. And I just think in an age where Drag Race is getting more and more polished, we're asking more more and more of the queens on the show, it's fun to see them like let their hair down and just be normal people again. It really reminds me of earlier seasons where you would get that little bit less filtered, like it's more unfiltered content. It's more like their natural reactions to things. And we used to see lots of queens posting online, making like a bit more home style videos, and it has a lot of that kind of energy. And it is getting people to watch season 17. Like a friend of mine hasn't watched a whole bunch of the recent seasons of Drag Race just because he was like, oh, there's just like so much to watch and I've got things to do. And I was like, okay, I'll still watch it, but whatever. But when I showed him some of Kori's like TikToks and stuff, he was like, cool, I'm going to watch it. And he's been really enjoying it. So I do think that Kori's going to bring a little extra audience to Drag Race season 17. And I'm not saying that Wow Presents Plus should be, giving Kori some money or maybe like getting her to do a show, but hey, maybe they should. I don't know. I genuinely I would be really surprised if down the track we don't see Kori pop up on some of those major channels, whether it's in a hosting capacity or whether it's just like appearing in them as guests. Like Pit Stop, surely next season we'll see Kori. Not to be weird about it, but I do think part of the reason we connect more with the queens on Kori's vlogs is because of that like parasocial relationship element. I mean, I know I find it harder to form admiration or a parasocial relationship for someone on TV when you're just getting this really like edited version of them. And Kori's vlogs are very lo-fi. They're very like quick phones up, we're filming what's happening, which makes it just so much easier to bond with them in a way. Again, not to make it weird, and don't be weird about it, but like we all have parasocial relationships with who we see online, and it's a lot easier to form that with a vlog channel versus on the show, which I could only assume is going to be good for Kori's business. Like I saw that she's touring Australia later in the year. I'd love to go, and I wouldn't necessarily have bought tickets if it hadn't been for her vlog channel. Now let's talk about the comedy, let's talk about the impersonations, let's talk about the cameos, because arguably that is what most people know Kori for. On TikTok, Kori has, I have it in my notes, 254,000 followers on TikTok at time of recording, which is pretty impressive, especially when you compare that to having, nearly 100,000 on YouTube, and then on Instagram she has 130,000. So TikTok's clearly her biggest platform, and that's where she's posting a lot of her impersonations and her cameos and stuff. They are so unhinged and so funny. It has been such a long time since I've seen something and just been unable to stop laughing. And I think part of what has captured audiences is that it really feels like she's doing this for herself. Like she genuinely finds it funny. It gives me the energy of when Jenna Marbles used to go online and turn herself into a green screen or put a whole bunch of diamantes on her face. It gives me that kind of vibe, and it's just so joyful to watch. And I think in a world where it's hard not to take yourself seriously. Do you know what I mean? Content creators, influencers, drag queens, even just people, trying to have a cool online presence. It's hard not to take yourself too seriously. We're in a bit of a competitive world, and so to see Kori just making herself into such a clown is so much fun, and there's something so infectious about watching someone enjoy what they do. Then there's Cameo, and I'm not going to pretend that I understand Cameo. I know how it works, obviously, but I've never thought, I have the financial freedom to pay someone to make a video for me. But I love what she's doing on there. I just think it is so fun and silly to be going on Cameo and making that a big part of what you offer your audience. She has such a great knack for tapping into her audience. And obviously as a consumer, I love that. From a business perspective, genius. She's really, when she vlogs or when she makes cameos, she is speaking to the audience. And I think it really, really shows. And there's definitely a love of Drag Race that comes through in Kori's videos. And this is where I think that Kori is has the potential to be a big face for Drag Race, because it's not she's doing all this stuff and going, Drag Race did not matter. No, she still loves it. Her vlog at DragCon where she's excited to meet the queens, the fact that she's doing things like trying Trixie's makeup, or even when she does Susie's makeup, and her beef with Mistress Isabel Brooks, all of that is a bit of a love letter to Drag Race in a way. And so as a viewer, I don't feel I'm not going to consume it anymore. If anything, it makes me feel more nostalgic towards the show. So I think that is a big, big benefit. Of course, Kori is not the first queen to take their time on Drag Race and turn that momentum into something else entirely. She kind of reminds me of how Maddie Morph emphasis went on to make Give It To Me Straight. Like, her channel and the things that she can deliver on that is so different to what we could see of her on the show. Like, it's just different to the skill set, and it's really cool to see someone going from strength to strength, doing something that really suits them. Like, the competition just isn't going to suit everybody and show off their best personality, their best skills. Like, the competition just isn't geared to show the best of everyone all the time. I think as well of Ashley Madison from Drag Race Down Under. Her series, like redesigning posters and redesigning outfits, is so cool and so clever, and it's really letting us see her talents in a very, very different way that we didn't get to see on the show. And I think Kori is another iteration of this. We're seeing so much more personality than we ever could have seen on the show itself. I think what I'm trying to get at in this video is that Kori's success on YouTube is a really interesting example of someone taking their time on TV but not letting it define them. You know, we have seen it before, but it is just exciting to watch it happen in action. I think she's also such a great example of just making really good YouTube content that speaks to your audience. It makes you feel like you're part of their life, and that's really exciting. Sometimes drag queens on Drag Race can feel super untouchable. They can feel otherworldly. And like, that's not to say that Kori is like not professional or something. I think her drag is so fun. I think she's a great performer. But you know what's more fun to watch sometimes is like a human being. So I think there is something really delightful as an audience member and as a fan of the show, watching her real behind the scenes life and watching her drag and her audience grow. And if you're not a fan of Drag Race, her content is just, that old school style of YouTube, which I think appeals to a lot of people. Anyway, that's enough about this hyperfixation for one afternoon. Like I said, I have a few friends that are very much in their Drag Race fatigue era. So I would love to know, what do you think of season 17? Are you watching Kori's vlogs? Who do you think is going to win? No spoilers. You can give me opinions. Please don't give me spoilers. I'll be so sad. But let me know what you've been thinking of the season so far. And if there's a hyperfixation that's been keeping you up at night, let me know what it is down in the comments. I really enjoy seeing what other people are passionate about, even if it's fleeting and a new hobby takes over very, very soon. All right, I'll be back next time with another little yap in the pink office. Talk to you then.